All right. This is a very special moment for me to introduce a very dear friend of mine. Sometimes in your life, ladies, I'm sure that you have met someone who has made you think about something differently, or who might have left a fingerprint on your life. And for me, one of those people is Amy Hilliard. So I started my career in marketing in the late 1980s, working at Quaker Oats in Chicago, and I was developing new food products. And I ended my corporate career in 1997 after I returned from Ohio, where I was the director of marketing at Lane Bryant. And at that time, Lane Bryant was owned by The Limited. I had the good fortune, while I was in Ohio, to report to the president and the chief financial officer. And one day they asked me to come into their office to help them figure out how to make, they wanted me to figure out why African American and Latino women seemed to be some of the best customers that they had. And since I was the only black person in the company, they asked me to help. And I said, well, I'll help as long as it's a business proposition. And I knew that it was. So after a bit of conversation with them, I took on the assignment. But then the next thing I did is I set about finding some help. And so I made a call to a company in Chicago, and this company was known for shopping behaviors, tracking shopping behaviors of African American people. And I was talking with their CEO about the project that I had. And he immediately said that I needed to contact Amy Hilliard. Well, now you have to understand that these were the days before LinkedIn and social media, so I didn't have a lot of ways to find out about Amy Hilliard, but I did manage to get a little bit of scoop on her. And it was actually perfect timing when I did call Amy, because she had just stepped out on her own after an exemplary marketing career to start a multicultural marketing consulting firm called the Hilliard Group. So as you've probably already read in her bio, Amy comes from quite a pedigree, from her education at Howard University and her MBA at Harvard, and her work in marketing at Gillette and Pillsbury and L'Oreal, to her leadership at one of the country's largest and most well-known and respected multicultural communication firms in Chicago. When we spoke, I felt like I had not only met a rock star of a marketer, I met someone who I could trust to get the work done that we needed to get done in a way that would make us both very proud. Now, remember I told you I was the only black person at the company. That's pretty true. So imagine when another black person showed up in the lobby. They thought it was a party. So when I went down to meet her, you'll see what I saw when I came down the stairs. Over the coming months, we did some really wonderful work together. We introduced Lane Bryant to the Essence Fashion Show, and we went around the country with women of color rocking the stage in shopping malls around the country. And we definitely proved that African American and Latino women were in fact Lane Bryant's best customers. When I left Lane Bryant in 1997, I returned to the Bay Area and I started my consulting firm. And the reason that I thought I could start my firm was because I saw Amy do it. And so after 18 years as an entrepreneur, I owe a big debt of gratitude to my friend Amy, who showed me not only that it could be done, but how to do it. Amy went on to found the Comfort Cake Company. She wrote her first book, which is on your table, Tap Into Your Juice, and is now the president of Fashion Fair Cosmetics in Chicago. It is my very pure delight to introduce you to my friend, Amy Hilliard.
Thank you. I am here, so proud to be here, and thank you, Sheila Lewis, for that wonderful introduction. Memories! Woo! We had a great time at Lane Bryant and doing some things that I still hold dear. Thank you so much. You are exemplary, totally, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you to Gloria Brown for inviting me, Sheila for introducing me, and Gloria for inviting me to come and speak to you today. I am so very, very proud of the work that you're doing. We had a wonderful dinner last night. Your committee has been terrific in making sure that I was welcomed and working with my team. But the Women's Health Conference, our health, is so vitally important. And so the fact that we are here to celebrate that, to make sure that we are all healthy, is about tapping into your juice. Now I'm going to walk around the stage as you can see. So I'm going to be walking and I'm going to be talking to all of you. But one of the first things I want to ask you is a key question. How many of you have what I call without a doubt shoes? Raise your hands. You know what I'm talking about? You all know. Okay? They're shoes. When you put them on, you do a quick pivot, and you look in the mirror and you say, without a doubt, I gotta have it. We do that, ladies, right? These are one of my without a doubt shoes. I always wear them when I'm talking because they make me feel wonderful. They help me to tap into my juice. And I'm going to talk to you about that today. What tapping into your juice is all about. Now, so I can see you. You're crystal clear now. We're going to talk about how tapping into your juice can help you find your gifts, lose your fears, and build your dreams. It's my story, it's what worked for me, it's what I hope can work for you, because that's why I'm here. My story, you heard about my corporate career, and it was wonderful. Had a great time in corporate America. But all the time I was in corporate America, I was baking pound cake, because it's my favorite dessert. I started baking it actually when I was at Howard University. Because I was, HU in the house, HU, you know, yes. Woohoo! Love it, love it. I find Howard people wherever I go. But I was eating a lot of Sara Lee pound cake. And as a student, you don't have a lot of money. So I said, well, let me try baking it myself. My mother made one cake, and she had the same cake for every occasion. She just changed the frosting. So I said, well, my mama can make one cake pretty well. I can do that. So I started making pound cake. This is a picture of me in the kitchen at Thanksgiving dinner. Now, I am the CFO of my family's Thanksgiving family reunion. For almost 20 years, every Thanksgiving, I cook for 40 people. 40 people from across the country. Drive in, start cooking, and I could not one year in 1999 get to the regular Thanksgiving food. They saw me and they said, just make cake. We'll get the turkey later, just make cake. And that's a picture of me taking one of my cakes out of the oven. So for my cake, this is my recipe that I tweaked, that one of my children's grandmothers told me the secret. When I told her I was going to start a business with it, she said, baby, if you really want it to taste good, you have to do this. And I'm like, really? She said, do it. Totally turned the cake around. So I've been making this cake for a long time. But for it to come from my kitchen to the shelves of Walmart, to be tested at McDonald's, and our very first customer was United Airlines, and they bought 550,000 slices of chocolate cake from my kitchen. It's pretty amazing. And now to be heading up Fashion Fair Cosmetics, almost 2 years, what a journey. This is an iconic business owned by African Americans. How many ladies wear Fashion Fair in the house? Woo! Good, 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 good. Fashion Fair is still the only black-owned cosmetics company sharing the same real estate as Lancome, Clinique, Bobbi Brown. Same real estate. They're the largest one in the world in terms of cosmetics for women of color. So these are part of my journey steps. And I want to share with you that it's been great, but it hasn't always been easy. I am thankful for my struggle because it wouldn't happen and show me my strength if I hadn't struggled. I collect these thoughts all the time, and I'm going to share some with you because this is what it's all about. It's not that it all looks great. Now you have to look like it looks great, right? Every day. You gotta fake it till you make it, okay? You gotta perpetrate sometimes, but you gotta keep going anyway. And for me, it starts with family and faith. Family and faith, that's it for me. These are some pictures I'll show you. These are my 2 children back then. They're grown people now. My daughter Angelica and my son Nicholas. My daughter Angelica actually came up with our tagline. When I told them I was going to start the Comfort Cake Company, I said, I'm in marketing. I said, I need a tagline. And so my son said, well, Mom, I have one. I said, okay, Nick, what is it? He goes, Mom, your cake really tastes good. I said, Nick, you keep being the chief taste tester. That's your job. And my daughter Angelica said, Mom, this is what I feel. And she wrote it down on a piece of paper and slid it across the table because she did not want to write it and just talk it out to me. She said, Mom, your cake tastes so good, it feels like a hug. Comfort cake is pound cake so good, it feels like a hug. And she now has that trademark, okay? You also see a picture, yes, my daughter, and she wrote it when she was 14 years old. Okay, so don't ever discount what your children are trying to tell you. And my daughter and son were totally behind me in starting Comfort Cake because of all of the background that you heard. I could not get a loan for the business. I wrote a business plan. The bank said, you know what? A pound cake company? That's a cute idea. And I was single at the time, and I said, I am not here to be cute. I have 2 children to put through college, so I need a loan. And they said, well, come to us after you get a customer. And I said, ooh. So I knew I had to do something in order to fund the company. And I talked to my kids. We had a big old house. And I said, kids, the only way I can do this is if I sell the house to fund this business. But I won't do it if you all say no. And my daughter told me, she said, Mom, sell it, do it, because a house is not a home. A home is a place you live with the people that you love. My daughter was on it. And I'm so proud to say that, as I told you, I had 2 children to put through college. My son graduated from Howard University in 2012, magna cum laude. Thank you, Lottie. Okay? And my daughter just graduated from the University of Phoenix in marketing. So I'm done. Woo! I'm so happy, though, that she did that while she worked for me at Comfort Cake and went to school full-time at night. And she got her degree. Standing next to me in that other photo is Bishop Arthur M. Brazier, who was the bishop of my church, Apostolic Church, when I was there in Chicago. He's passed on, but he blessed my cake before I started the business, and I was very serious about that. I told him what I wanted to do. I said, I need your blessing, and you channel God through it. And he said, absolutely. In fact, God is the one who helped me to do this and make the leap. I was making 6 figures for L'Oreal as head of marketing for Soft Sheen. And I was like, ooh, should I keep doing this or go after the Comfort Cake business? And I sat on my porch just crying and saying what to do. And that's the first time I heard God tell me, take my hand and do Comfort Cake. And I have listened to him ever since. Now here's some more pictures of my family. As I told you, Nick was a chief taste tester. That's him licking the bowl. Angelica with her energy being a butterfly or bat or something. You know how kids are. You see my parents, Gwen and Stratford Hilliard. They are totally the wind beneath my wings. My father has passed on. My mother is 91, still here. But, you know, they told me I could do anything, and my father never made it feel like that he wished he had sons. I have 3 sisters. But he's made sure, he said, you can do anything you want to, doesn't matter that you're a girl. In fact, go out and shovel some snow. Daddy? Okay. Now, a picture in the middle is a picture of my grandfather, my father's father. And that is James M. Hilliard Sr. He was an executive chef in the 1920s. He came from Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas. He could not wear the title of executive chef when he worked in hotels like the Peabody, but he taught the executive chefs there how to cook. And he raised a family of 12 doing that. And he, again, the Wynn, my ancestors, he was a chef back then. I was in the food business, amazing. My aunts, my great aunts and my great grandmother are in the other picture. My two aunts were caterers in Chicago, entrepreneurs way before their time in the 40s, catering. So food was in my blood, and I felt them for the many years that I was running Comfort Cake. Here's more about my family, okay? These are my four sisters, my three sisters, the four of us, and my mother. Now I'm going to say something to you all, and I want you all to understand where it's coming from. My mother is a badass. Let's just be clear. Sorry, Reverend, okay? But she is. She had 4 children. First, she was a licensed public nurse. Then she had 4 children. Then she went and got her bachelor's degree while she was teaching full-time, after having 4 kids. So that's how I grew up. That's what you're supposed to do. And then she went on to get her master's degree while she was raising us, and I saw her type her thesis on my grandfather's manual typewriter. This is way before Xerox machines with carbon paper, on our dining room table. That's a picture of her in her, days when she and my father would go out on date nights. That was my favorite dress. She always looked like a princess to me in that dress. And that picture above on your right is her now, 91. She still wears her high heels. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. And I love her to death. She stays with me now every time she can. She has a bit of dementia, which is hard to watch, but her wisdom is still intact. Now my sisters. On my left is my oldest sister, Pam. Pam has a global consulting writing business. She has clients from all over the world. She was a former teacher, loved to write, loved to edit. You could not say anything. If you had a grammatical error, Pam would fix it. So she turned that into a business. On my very right hand, on the other end, is my baby sister, Wendy Hilliard. Wendy was the first African American to ever compete internationally in rhythmic gymnastics. She broke the color barrier, traveled all over the world to do so, and now runs the Wendy Hilliard Foundation out of New York. And when she trained to try to get to the Olympics, she got to the Olympic trials for the LA Olympics in 1984, and it was painful because she did not look like the other girls who were twirling. Wendy was twirling, okay? And they said, no, you don't fit the group, so we're not going to let you go to the Olympics. It was painful to see because her scores were shaved. You could tell the crowd knew it. My father said, I will never watch her compete again. It was that painful. She didn't let that stop her. She now runs the Wendy Hilliard Foundation out of Harlem, New York, and has trained to date over 15,000 at-risk youths in gymnastics. Now, you also may be aware of my sister, Gloria. Yeah, she spoke to you before, right? Gloria Mayfield Banks, Mary Kay Cosmetics. She's number 2 or 3 in the world. Okay? She's not playing. And it's kind of funny because now I'm in cosmetics too, so we talk about it all the time. There's room enough for everybody. We're abundance thinkers. But Gloria and I have a wonderful relationship where we share all the time. In fact, I tell her, you follow me all the time. I went to Howard, wait. First, I was the first cheerleader in the family. Give me a C for Calf Tech. One audience sucks. Well, Gloria became a cheerleader at Redford High School. Then I went to Howard, and Gloria went to Howard, okay? I went to Harvard Business School, and Gloria went to Harvard Business School. But let me tell you something about that fact, if it's not in the book, in the bio. Gloria and I are the only 2 African-American blood sisters to have ever graduated from the Harvard Business School in its entire history. We just found that out last year. Amazing. So I have a lot of support. But let's talk about juice. Because that's what my book is about, and that's what we're here to talk about. And juice is energy. It fuels you. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be emotional, and it can be spiritual. And that's important because spiritual energy for me undergirds everything I do. Because when you don't have anything else going for you, you know who is in your corner. At least I know who's in mine. I'm very clear. And I know that if you are spiritually connected, you can be economically directed. And how do I know this? From what my life, but also one of my key role models, Miss Oprah. This is the cover of Fast Company. It just came out, and the title of it is How Oprah Blends Belief with Business. We all know that that's how she lives, and I've seen her do this, and this works for me. So I love Oprah, and I love everything she's done. I love that dress, too. That's a hot dress. Oprah is not playing. But there are 10 types of juice, and I want you all to tap into them. You'll see them in the book. Purpose, possibilities, priorities, preparation, and patience. Persistence, positivity, perception, prosperity, and passion. Let's talk about it. Finding your purpose. Search me, Lord. I have plans for you. Find what you need in me. Whoa, I can keep going with that song. But finding your purpose. First of all, you have to assume that you have one. We all have one because God has given each of us gifts. Sheila talked about a fingerprint. Each one of us has a fingerprint that's totally unique. So you know your gifts are that as well. Totally unique. Identify what you like when you're looking at your purpose. Find out what is it that you like. What is it that you don't like. Things that you like to do, you can build a business about it. Things that you don't like and you want to fix, you can build a business or a living or a life about that. Be true to yourself and be authentic, because if you're not, your juice won't flow. Do what comes naturally. Don't try to go against the grain. Go with what you know. Go with what feels good. And importantly, create value for others, because that is what it's all about. It's not only about you, it's about what you can do for others. Believe in possibilities. You'll see Bible verses throughout, because I truly, as you know, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that is what I do every day, every single day. My kids know this, anyone who's living knows this. I start my day in meditative prayer. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. I talk to the Lord every day. He tells me what's going on. In fact, he's G to me. I'm like, good morning, G. He's like, good morning. This is what's up for today. And that's the kind of relationship we have. It helps me to believe in possibilities. But anything is possible. An open mind is a gold mine. And here's another favorite saying of mine. As long as you can look up, you can get up. Now, why is that true for me? Family is important, you heard. Well, I have my cousin Brett, Denise Woodson, who lived in Los Angeles, was my sister, another sister to me. We would go to New York and have fun. In fact, she'd come to Detroit, which is where I'm from, come to Detroit, visiting me in July with her wool coat with the fur collar. I'm like, Brett, it's July. She goes, I'm coming back east. It's cold. But Brett was wonderful, but she died suddenly. She was killed in a car accident, 35 years old. Devastated her father. He could not handle it. So my aunt called me and said, Amy, your uncle can't handle it. You've got to come help me. So I said, Lena, I'll be there. Got on a plane. She picked me up from the airport, LAX. We went directly to the wig shop because Brett had long hair, but she went through the windshield. They had to cut it all off. And my aunt said, but I want to have her open. So pick out a wig that you think will work. I said, okay, Auntie. We picked out the wig, went directly to the funeral parlor. Now, I don't know about you, but I had never been downstairs where the mortician did his work, but that's what I had to do. So imagine this. He's putting her face together while I'm combing the wig on her. That's when I touched her, and I knew that as long as I could look up, I could get up, because Brett couldn't. And I swore that day, I said, nothing will hold me back. Nothing. My son Nicholas has that line tattooed on his shoulder, because I told him that and told my kids that for so long. And when you're thinking about tapping into your juice and what you want to do, are you lowering your vision to meet today's reality? Or are you elevating reality to meet your vision? Ask yourself that question, because if you think that what you can do is only where you sit today, you will stop yourself. If I had said the only thing I can do with my pound cake is eat it and give it to my family, I wouldn't have had a business. So my vision was about what I could do, just as yours can be. You have to identify your priorities. And this is also important because life is very short. You know, this came crystal clear back in when the World Trade Centers went down, and good Lord, San Bernardino, it's clear. We're in tough, tough times, and you have to identify what your priorities are, because every day is a gift. But if you went to the doctor and you were told you had 5 years left to live to make your mark, what would you be doing? Think about it. What would you be doing if you knew you had 5 years left? Got it in your head? Okay. You go back to the doctor, and he says, I am so sorry, but you only have 3 years left. What would cross off that list? Okay? So you go back to your next visit, and the wonderful ladies that were here for the fashion show, they know what I'm talking about. Bless them all. You go back to the doctor, and he says, I'm so sorry, but you only have 1 year left. What would be on your list? Are you doing that now? That's the question. Are you doing it now? And if you're not, why not? It becomes crystal clear. You gotta simplify your life, better identify your priorities. And people tell me all the time, oh, I don't have time, I want to start a business, oh, I want to be this, I don't have time. Well, simplify your life, because how much time do you spend on your hair, your nails? We all have to look good, but we can spend a lot of time on that, right? You can be writing a business plan. Shopping, now that was my thing. Woo, I can shop. But how much time is that taken away from what you need to do? TV. Now I love TV and I love Thursday nights, TGIT or whatever it is with Shonda Rhimes and Scandal and all that stuff. I love it. Grey's Anatomy, and her book is phenomenal. The Year of Yes, I suggest you all get it, but you can spend a lot of time watching TV, tape it, and do it later. And just hanging out, having a good time. We can have such a good time that you work out one day and your week is gone, you haven't done what you're supposed to do. So you really need to not do that so that you can get prepared, okay? Because if you're not prepared to go for what you want, it won't be coming to you. Finding your calling as you're getting prepared, it really isn't work. As I talked to you before, everybody has a purpose. But finding your calling isn't work. But you better work so you don't get a busy signal when the call comes through. Okay? You better. And don't get paralysis by analysis. How many times have people said, I really want to start this, but I just don't know how. Let me go do some studying. Let me go do some research. Let me go, and I'm like, can you just do it? Sheryl Sandberg, the COO from Facebook, is a friend. One of the things in her book, Lean In, that I loved was, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to make progress. So get started with what it is that you want to do. And tune into what I call GRTV. What does that mean? Understand your goals. Understand your resources. Understand your time, and understand your vision. GRTV, keeping it simple. It doesn't have to be so hard. We can do what we need to do. But you also, as you're doing it, you gotta have patience. Ooh, that's the hardest P for me. I want it now. How many of you want it now? Let's be honest, y'all want it now, I want it now. But sometimes, as Ecclesiastes says, you know, to everything is a season, and you have to work with that too. But having patience is important, because fruit does not grow overnight. And if you eat fruit, you pick it before it's ripe, it doesn't taste so good, does it? You're like, doesn't taste so good. But when you're in a holding pattern, that can be healthy. I fly all the time. And when the pilot says, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be in a holding pattern, what do? You go like, I gotta be there right now. No, I say, you go right ahead, hold the plane, get me there safely, hold the plane. And when you go to the theater, what happens in intermission between acts? The stage gets stripped of Act 1, and you roll in Act 2. So sometimes intermission is a good thing. And divine order is not on your timetable. Woo, that's so hard, because you're like, but I want it, I'm ready. And God's like, no. I'm in charge and I'll give it to you when I want you to have it. And it doesn't always turn out that he's right, she's right. Now, as women, and for you men in the room, you understand this, as a woman, you're trying to get everything right now, and I'm just a perfect victim of that. I'm like, we gotta do it, let's go. Sometimes you have to know that a foolish woman keeps talking, but a wise woman understands the power of her words as well as her silence as she's waiting. Now, this is the title that really grabbed me, the concept, because it really grabbed me as the concept for my next book, because I want you all to understand the power of soft. The power of soft. And we, particularly as women of color, who had to be so tenacious all the time, we have to survive, we have to do what we have to do. The soft part of it doesn't always get on the table. But that's a very important lesson to learn, and I'm writing this just as much for me as for you, because I know that it's powerful, and I'm connecting those two words together. You don't have to just be soft, it's about being meek and everything else that doesn't mean powerful. You can be powerful and soft at the same time. But in doing this, guys and girls, everyone, you gotta get over it. You just gotta get over stuff. We hang on so much to stuff. You gotta get over not having the money or a boyfriend. Get over it. You gotta get over not getting married, not getting promoted. I've been there. I've been married twice. Okay? I had to get over it. Not being skinny, not being rich. Okay? Get over that too. Because once you get over stuff, you can move forward. Am I telling the truth? Once you get over it, your energy will shift to what it is you're going toward instead of what it is you're moving from. In fact, there are 2 days that you cannot do anything about. That's yesterday and tomorrow. So keep your one foot in front of the other on today. It'll get you where you have to go. But it's important, as you're doing so, to not worry about being popular either, because that's not the popularity contest. It's about the persistence contest. You gotta stay persistent. And here's what I'm talking about.
For those of you that the enemy has left on the roadside of life, left you alone, desperate and destroyed, I want you to know this song is just for you. God's about to write a new chapter in your life. So lift your head up and repeat after me. Lift it up with the demise of really exactly. Said you heard I was down and out, bruised and broken down in the town. You heard I lost my will to live, lost my vision from coming. Let me let you know that the rumors are not true. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me clear up a couple of things and let you know that I'm walking the king. You heard that I've been struck by sin. Don't need the hype, it ain't gonna win. I'm here to let you know that the rumors are not true. Rumors are my demise.
Because keeping and squeezing that juice is what it's all about. You got to keep squeezing it. Ignore the stop signs. Ignore the considerations, the fears, the roadblocks. Do not let any of that stop you. Because temporary defeat does not mean permanent failure. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is not fatal, only if you let it be. Okay? Anybody who's successful will tell you they failed a lot. They don't always show it, but that's how they keep going to reach to the heights that they can. And develop what I call bounce back ability. And I got that, when you have a hard rubber ball, the harder you throw it down, the higher it's bounced back up. So when you fall down hard, bounce back up really, really fast and really high. Now, why is that important? Because everyone wants to be successful until they see what it actually takes. This probably could be Misty Copeland right here, okay? The first African-American ballerina for the American Ballet Theater. This is what it takes. And the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. The only place. Now sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes you gotta have some yoga and also have some vodka to get through it. Okay? I get it. I do. But you do. And, we looked at a lot of different things when we were doing Comfort Cake. The big buns were working for a minute, and then they didn't work so well. We almost got discontinued on our biggest customer. And we were able to shift them from just the big buns to slices and to frozen batter. And we did that by asking for an exploratory conversation. So you gotta ask for exploratory things. And you have to go with what you want. That's me when I was coming out of Howard. I wanted a job at Bloomingdale's in the fashion industry. They didn't want to give it to me. I asked for exploratory conversation. I got it. And then I'm at fashion shows. Halston Fashion Show, big fashion show. And that's where I met Mrs. Eunice W. Johnson, the woman who created Fashion Fair Cosmetics. So I know that there's a lot more that I can share with you, but I'm just going to share it as quickly as I can. But that was a moment for going up what you wanted. You gotta know when to make a strategic pivot, and that's what I did moving from Fashion Fair to Fashion Fair from Comfort Cake. And you gotta know that just don't give up. Just keep going, because life is a snapshot. And you keep the good, throw out the bad, and keep going. Seek positivity. Everybody can't have a front row seat in your life. Energy givers, energy takers, they're either one or the other. Know what you're not going to do. Reduce relationship rehab, and if somebody's giving you relationship rehab, there's trouble, this is what you do. Run away. Life's too short to worry about what others say or do, and if they are giving you shade, give them some sunglasses, okay? But don't take off your brightness. And this is just some pictures of people who have supported me in Comfort Cake, and one of them is our president. He was a senator. Okay, so I have that picture for my grandkids of Obama helping me sell some Comfort Cake. Oprah, Smokey Robinson, Jennifer Hudson, and the mayor of Chicago. And from the White House, I sent Mr. President a Comfort Cake after he got reelected, and he sent me a nice note back. Manage your perceptions, and I'm going to wrap quickly. But how you present an opportunity does determine its success and its potential for success. Perception is reality, so you've got to understand that. When we were on AOL, I would give that to my customers and clients and say, see, we're a big business, I'm still working it out of my home. Okay? Leverage. We leveraged Fashion Fair to work with Nene Leakes because she was doing the Cinderella on Broadway show. They needed some black makeup. I'm like, we can handle that. We didn't have any money to pay Nene Leakes, but I'm like, Nene, we're going to help you with your customer base. She's like, I will do that for Fashion Fair and for you. Assume prosperity. Prosperity is a lot of different things. You can see these as I put them up. But to me, the most important one is prosperity means more than cash. You got to know your why. What is your why? For me, it's my kids. But not just my kids, it's the next generation. Because that's the next generation as we make Comfort Cake at Thanksgiving. All of them helped me, and they wanted that legacy too. Honor your passion. Because if you don't, you won't go forward, you won't go fast. But have a plan for your passion. Because passion without a plan is nothing but a lot of hot air. And then step out and take a stand. This is me and Mrs. Obama, because I knew them from Chicago. This was after he got elected to the Senate, and she told me, because I was at the announcement when he said he was going to run for the Senate, me and about 4 other people in the room, because nobody believed it. Why I'm looking and so gleaming, because she leaned over to me and she said, Amy, you were one of the first people in the room. And that's what she told me at that moment. I've never forgotten it. I see her now when she comes to Howard, and we all know what a terrific and courageous woman she is. Build that legacy. As I said, I'm the chief food officer. I'm turning over the spoon to my daughter with my apron, and now she's doing it, and I'm her assistant. But you gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable as you do it. Don't be afraid. And I won't play this whole song because I don't have the time, but don't be afraid. This is another one of the songs that I love. Because fear, we all know, false expectations appearing real. But for me, faith eventually attracts resources. Okay? And faith, to me, means focusing on what you want. Take action for what you want. Use your intuition. Be tenacious and trust in the process and the Lord. And lead with your heart. And remember that it doesn't come easy. Faith makes things possible. It doesn't make them easy. So, tap into your juice. Remember, anything is always possible. Never too late. It is never too late. You can write your own rules and be fabulous at any age. I'm 63, okay? Having a good old time out here. Okay? And press on. Pressing on is something that I believe that you press on, although the road is rocky. Press on through rivers of doubt. Press on when no seems to greet you often. And smile and just press on. Press on when others try to stop you, even when their hearts are true. Press on because you can share your God-given gifts because God has made only one you. Press on. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Wow, thank you. That's right, baby. That's right.
Got up this morning in a sweat, felt so hot. I don't know what to do with this funny temperature I've got. Since I know me, I never felt such a heat. Oh Lord, the carnival fever attacked me from head to feet. Oh Lord, fever, fever in my head. Fever, fever in my bed. Fever, fever in my nose. Fever, fever in my toes. All I wanna do is drink a rum. All I wanna do is tumble down. All I wanna do is tingle. All I wanna do is break away. Listen, will somebody please get up and form some kind of band? It doesn't matter if it's one man or one woman. I can't stand this torture, I just have to play. I don't think that I could hold on till you pay. Oh Lord, fever, fever with my head.